Audio's on. We are recording.
Hey, thanks for having us, Chris Lumser with the Long Coat Mafia podcast. I'm Sara Jones with Grinding with Strangers, and I'm here with Sam Walsh from Euphoria Photography, and Calvin and Mark and Jamie with Ape-X record. What do you got? Ape-X?
Appalachian Ape-X.
Appalachian Ape-X. So I want to talk a little bit about what has inspired you all to do Appalachian Ape-X collab. And Sam, what's inspired you to get up here and do a similar thing? I'll have you guys take it away with what started. How did Ape-X become?
It actually started as Copying a Bit Records with me and Mark. And we just started doing that to actually book High Horse Cavalry because a lot of the promoters have cliques, so it's hard to get in with them. So we just started our own thing. Then when Jamie formed Trap Rat, they fit with us perfect. He had Ape-X sound, so we joined them together and became Appalachian Ape-X.
Awesome. I love all the bands you guys are in. You're personally some of my favorite local bands. And I want to know what inspires you guys musically and who you're listening to right now.
For me, it's still old. I don't know any new bands, so it's back into like Ministry, Jane's Addiction, Suicidal Tendencies, Pill. I know Mark's is going to be completely different than mine.
Mine's always different, but mine always changes too. But currently, I kind of slipped back to the old classic rock, and I'm listening to Hendrix. I'm listening to Zeppelin, stuff like that. Even some old Eagles I'll throw in there, and then I never put down Alice in Chains. That's
awesome.
One of my biggest
bucket list
influences. For me. And I love them to death. So they're a great band, and that's about it. But I'm sure if you ask me this question in about 2 years, it might be different.
Right.
But for now, that's what I'm listening to.
Yeah, for me, it's the same. It's always been a plethora of different kinds of music, as it is with any musician, I guess, or artist or creative. But as of right now, I guess with Trap Rat, some of my biggest current influences are like Gel and Gulch, bands like that. Come to the stompier, more hardcore, crustier bands. Mm-hmm. And then some older stuff like Dystopia, and Old Neurosis. Yeah, I'm going to have to stop there because I could go on for like an hour. And then as far as like the do-whats go, there's a lot of influence that goes into that band. I personally can't even speak for the bulk of us on that one. For me, it's just kind of like, I don't even know. The do-whats is an entity all on its own. It kind of does its own thing. You can judge us by the covers, but our originals it checks all the boxes. So,
Punk rock karaoke.
Yep.
And I really love what you guys are doing with trying to cut out the gatekeeping in the community. Really what we need, is like someone that's going to offer us a space up,
That's kind of what our aim with this was, and me and Mark and Calvin here have talked about, a lot before we finally decided to join forces and pursue what we're doing now is, the gatekeeping thing is, I'm not gonna go too far into it, but a lot of the times you either got to be a friends with a promoter or hanging out or showing up to all his shows or a touring band or have some sort of a fan base, and like we discussed on the way down here, how does a band get an opportunity to build a fan base if a promoter won't give them a show? Well, that's what we want to fix that, Yeah. It's musicians helping musicians to uplift each other and the community and the scene, so.
Exactly. All with a common goal, trying to get the same job.
The more the merrier.
Yep.
Exactly. And I wanted to thank Don. I didn't do that. Seven Arts Media.
Seven Arts Archive.
Seven Arts Archive. YouTube, Instagram.
Facebook.
YouTube, Facebook. Don Ramirez has been around for a long time. You guys want to promote any shows you have coming up? Because I want to go to them.
The next Appalachian Ape-X is July 13th. Right?
Yeah, it is.
At Bad Habits with High Horse Cavalry, Trap Rat, Bag of Humans, which I don't know if you have heard them. If you haven't, you got to check them out.
Yeah, they're sick. They're heavy.
Yeah, and then Volumetric Thing, a local Hagerstown band, and then there's Scratchmouth from Cumberland. Mm-hmm. They've had trouble getting shows to book because they're a little bit different, so he had a thing out on Facebook, and I told him we threw him on the bill. So.
I talked to him too because he seems like he has the same goal in mind. Like he's trying to do a DIY in his garage or something, just because.
It's a common topic right now. I mean,
Yeah.
amongst we play in the, I call it the quad state area. You know what I mean? Like we play all over the place, and you have the same discussion with bands of all different genres from all different backgrounds, whether they be a suburban area band or a more rural area band or whatever. Nobody can get shows if you're not already in the clique. So we want everybody to join the clique. Come join the Appalachian Ape-X clique. We're going to give you a show. You're a local band, and we got a local venue. We're going to put you on. We promise. That's what it's. There's no other way to go about it.
All right, here's my plug: the Space Drifters.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, Mark. I'm in there too, but I forget about them.
August 16th at Bad Habits. That's all.
I have a follow-up question. I'm curious that you guys, there seems to be this almost like a regional circuit. You guys are from outside of Martinsburg. Tell everyone where you're from, and let's talk about some of the different venues that are in driving distance of Martinsburg where people could come and see, what are some of your local favorite venues, regional venues, and let's talk a little bit about that whole scene that's going on.
I'm from Hagerstown, originally from Martinsburg. High Horse still practices in Martinsburg. I don't really know a ton of venues. We've had trouble getting into a lot of them other than Bad Habits. Disfigure does something in Hagerstown at the R&K pub, which they've had us there a few times. I think they're kind of in the same mindset as Appalachian Ape-X. They do it just to get bands in there, and they offer a free show. We got a couple clubs in Frederick we're in talks with now. We're going to meet with, see if we can set up the same kind of thing there that we got going on in Bad Habits.
Yeah, and with that, I'll use that as an opportunity to give a shout out to Could Be Better and Old Mother in Frederick. They're champions of the scene in the Frederick area anyway, which is where me, Jamie Dreadful, and the Trap Rat and the Do-What's are all from Frederick County. And there's not a lot of places out there, but Could Be Better's got, they got the right idea. They'll book you. They don't care what your genre is. They'll get you in there. It's a free venue. You don't pay to play. It's a free entry. You make money off of the liquor sales. I mean, that's what it's all about right there. They're coming up where they're helping us come up, and everybody does it together. And like Calvin said, we're in talks with some other places in Frederick right now about getting some things set up. And
We provide our own sound.
Yep, at no cost to the venue too. So
And the Kennel, I mean, it's a little bit farther away, but up in York, it's one of the best places we play. They treat the bands really good. You're always going to get paid, free drinks, free food for the bands, free room if you need to stay. So that's another one we've always had fun playing at.
I want to ask like a couple other historical bands that you guys have been in, some of your favorite different acts, and then I'll jump the hell out of here. And your favorite scene story from through the years. You know what I'm saying? Like what memory?
Boy.
Right. Absolutely. Have fun with it. No, it's totally steps.
I'll start with some of the bands that I've been in historically. I started out in the local hardcore, straight edge hardcore scene, as a matter of fact, which a lot of people who know me.
What year?
It would have been 1999. Yep, I was a very, very young puppy. Amongst, I was in playing with guys like Adam Bellman and Perry Freed. I was in a band called the Whiskey Shits. Some punk stuff, But the most notably, I was in I was in a band. Me and actually 80 Syndrome, my wife from Trap Rat. We were in a band together called Black Canary, which was a pretty progressive doom post kind of hardcore noise ambient earfuck kind of band. Oops, sorry.
Come on, Jamie, get it together over there.
But and that was it. Actually, we made a pretty decent impact in the local scene, I feel like, and we made a lot of connections with a lot of bands. Tim Otis and Paul Kogel from High Noon Kahuna, two of my closest friends. We've been playing with them for over 20 years now, and the plethora of bands they've been in, Vox Populi, Admiral Browning, to name a few.
They are totally kick-ass.
Yeah, and actually Tim recorded Trap Rat's EP, Tripus Ratus Mortis. It's a 4-track EP, if you will. Tim brought all of his gear out to our jam space and recorded that for us, and that was really cool.
Take the Guns on that one?
Take the Gun is on that one.
That shit is so
yes,
hard.
Yep. And then we also have the single, Keeping It Reefer, that we recorded with Bad Apples here. Mr. Mark's recording studio, which we definitely want to plug that on here because this man gives you really great sounding recordings.
It does sound great. I don't know anything about music, but I like sound quality.
No, he's pro.
Yeah, he did the mixing on the Do-What's.
Yep, the Do-What's
LP,
too.
both
Yep.
High Horse Cavalry LPs. Mark did all the mixing, engineer, everything was all on Mark with all those.
Bad Apple's music.
And as far as my favorite,
Thanks, fellas.
my favorite scene story I can think of right off the top of my head was at Braddock Inn. I'd say probably about 2001, I want to say, and it was with Leviathan AD, which is Adam Wright from Crucial Brass Records, was a band he was in at the time, and Bongzilla was touring. And I was excited to see Bongzilla because, I've never seen him before, and I was like, it's going to be this loud, powerful band. I was preparing myself for it. But Leviathan played first, and the guitar, Adam Wright's guitar, was so loud that I blacked out and caught myself just as soon as I was stumbling through the door and puking all over the front steps of the Braddock Inn. And I hadn't even had a drink yet. That was 100% because of how skull-rattling loud his guitar was. And it inspired me, and I've tried to mimic that ever since then. I'm not going to be happy until someone vomits just solely because of my guitar playing.
I hope it's me.
Whether it be that they're disgusted with me or it just has the same effect his had, I'll be happy with both.
I did a lot of recording on my own. The last time when I first started, I was in a band 20 some years ago. It was called Split Personality. So I don't want to get my age out there, but that's probably showing it. And the drummer of Space Drifters was actually in that band too. So we had stayed in touch for so many years. And then kids come, family comes, career comes, all that. But now kids are gone, and now it's time to go have some fun again. So I did spend a brief when I got back into it. I was in a band called American Dharma as their drummer.
Okay.
We kind of grew different ways. Ended up with High Horse Cavalry. And have been with those guys since, and then started the Space Drifters through that and said, okay, Calvin, you want to sing for us? It originally just started out as three guys coming over, getting about half fucked up and playing music and recording and said, all right, what's it sound like? And lo and behold, we ended up with about 7 or 8 songs that actually had some structure to it. And that's when I did call Calvin and said, hey, I think we might want to put some vocals in it. So that's how that got started.
And he kept on and on and on asking. I kept saying, I really don't have the time, but he wore me down.
We're glad he did. It sounds great.
How do you guys deal with time management in real life and family and bands? Bands, multiple bands.
Yeah, multiple bands.
For me, it makes it a little bit easier because one band is family. Like, my wife is the bass player, and our nephew plays drums for us. We're a 3-piece.
No, that was your nephew.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, old DZ
Shout out
Schmucka.
to Derek.
Yeah, shout out to
Yeah,
Derek.
shout out to both of them. I love it.
I went to school with Derek's father. I'm dating
That is showing your age. You
Yeah,
probably
I am
shouldn't have said
dating
that.
myself.
We all take a lot of stock in that young man. He hasn't let us down yet. So. But it helps out a lot. And our daughter she'll be 14 this year. Shout out to Lily. I know she won't listen to this, but Daddy loves you. And she's very supportive of what we do. She's into the arts. She's a dancer. She dances 5 days a week. She's very dedicated to it. Very, very talented at it. And so she's very understanding that what we got to do, and it's not something we necessarily even choose to do, it's a calling when you're a musician, it's you have to. It's like popping a pimple. You just can't let it fester. You got to get it out, So she understands that, and it works out really good. And she's to a self-sufficient age for the most part. So as long as we make sure she's not going to burn the house down, we can pretty much leave her to do what she needs.
We
to
have
get
stole the microphones. It is your turn to tell us your story, Calvin.
What story do you want to know?
Craziest thing you've seen on the scene at a show,
At a-
any show.
I can't say.
You won't believe this, but
Well, I wasn't there, but I always like to tell the story. I don't. You guys are too young. Don might remember the old punk band. I know Jamie said he does lawn dart from Martinsburg.
I do. I have friends.
Is that the
That's
question?
fucking
I didn't know
my
that was the
now.
question.
Yeah.
That's my now.
Yeah.
That's my now.
All right. Well,
I thought
the drummer Ramon was a really good friend of mine, and they used to, back then with the punk bands, they'd rent fire halls, everything, and they went to Kaiser, West Virginia, and I don't know if you remember their singer Dave. Dave was all out, adamant, all that, and apparently he was called a name from the crowd. So Dave dives into the crowd, starts a fight with the whole crowd. Now the band, instead of going out and helping him, just kept playing their song until he finally got drugged back up on stage, and then he started singing again. But yeah, that was from a band called Lawn Dart, which was way back when, which Ramon was one of them actually that got me started in music. But I kind of started, like Mark said, I just did recording projects. December 1980 was called one, and then Head Collection. It was all pure industrial, all the way like Skinny Puppy style industrial to Ministry style industrial. And then I got out of it for like 20 some years. High Horse Cavalry started as actually a solo project, and then I just started bringing people in. And then Christian, the bass player, had a long talk with me about changing the name to High Horse Cavalry because that's not what it was called. So I broke
You
down.
will be watching.
Yes. And that's when then we got Mark in. Mark through a mutual friend, and it's just been rolling since. So.
For me, I think the amazing thing about this scene is as an old punk rocker, right? Like I'm 58, is to see all the gray hair and to go all the way back. Like the Voodoo Love Gods and I go back to like 1989, and I think some of the profound things that they say, not having this in their life is their most fucked up periods, right? No matter if no one goes to their shows or whatever, but if this isn't part of their life, it's, So
Absolutely.
I look, and of course, I've always, it's art. It's art. We're all artists.
Some people play golf. We play music.
And I don't play music, and I am so terrible at everything from genres to, like, I'm just musically dumb. I know nothing, but I know what I like, and I just want to support this scene so much because we live in one of the best areas for music, I think. I've lived all over, and I think a lot of factors go into us living in this, like, really awesome little pocket. But, we've got, like, music art schools around in Baltimore and D.C., so I just think it's so silly. I wish I knew the secret sauce to get people out to shows because there's so much talent around here. It's not just metal and punk, but we have a lot of awesome metal and punk.
I think the biggest thing to start the recipe for that secret sauce is we just got to break down the barriers and the walls and stop giving people reasons to think that they can't come out to the shows.
It's a vibe. It's a good vibe.
I definitely see a community that's being built through Bad Habits and the work that Sara and Kellen are doing and the shows that you guys are putting on. I see a lot of crossover. I'm excited to see something like that. It's incredibly unique for Martinsburg. It's incredibly unique for the region, and you've got a lot of serious people involved with it trying to make it successful, and Martinsburg has always been slow to the arts, but the one thing I always want people to remember, this is the fucking home of Shannon Larkin. Shannon Larkin grew up like over here, right? Like the greatest drummer
I was just pointing that out to them where he was from.
Grew up over here, so but I'll let you guys wrap up. Again, nail everything on where people can follow all of you guys.
Sam Walsh.
I am Sam Walsh with Euphoria Photography. I do local concert photography, and I'm also working with a national music magazine that I contribute to. I cover local shows as well as national shows. If I will travel to it, they will let me cover it. You can find me on Instagram as well as Facebook, Euphoria Photography. I spell it weird. It is YOUFORIA Photography.
For High Horse Cavalry, you can find them on Facebook and Instagram, YouTube. Space Drifters also on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Careful who you talk to. If you're on Facebook, you're talking to me. If you're on Instagram, you're talking to Mark. I don't want people to get that confused. Appalachian Ape-X also on Facebook and Instagram, right? Yep. You guys do the Instagram. And anybody that wants a show can hit up Appalachian Ape-X. It'll either be me, Mark, or Jamie get back with you. We don't care about your genre or anything like that, as long as you're cool to get along with. We don't matter.
Apple's music, Instagram.
And you don't bitch to Mark when he's running sound, because
What's your next dates out at Bad Habits? Don't y'all have something at Bad Habits?
yeah, July 13th, that's when High Horse, Cavalry, and Trap Rats playing. And like Mark said, August 16th is an Appalachian Ape-X show. That's with
Space
Space Drifters, Miranda's Rights, Two Screws Loose. No, not Two Screws Loose. Sean's other band, Magnum Jack, I think.
That's Magnum Jack.
Yeah, and then we just added Arm the Track to that bill. So.
And for me, it's the same. Trap Rat and the Do What's are both on Instagram and Facebook, and both have music we just released too. If anybody's interested, it's traprat.bandcamp.com and then thedowhat's.bandcamp.com. Again, our EP was recorded with the great Tim Otis from High Noon Kahuna. Check those guys out. They got a brand new album out too, and it is fucking amazing. And and another plug for Bad Apples over here. Our single, our radio hit. It's getting played all over the world. No, it's not really, but that was recorded with him. And if you have trouble contacting any of us through our individual sites, Appalachian Ape-X is a hub. To contact us, and we can put you in contact with other people you're looking to link up with too.
You can find High Horse Cavalry and Space Drifters music on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, all of the music platforms.
And High Horse's LPs are always free to download.
Yeah,
we just started that. Any LP High Horse does free download. CDs are free at the show. Our T-shirts are free at the show if you come and ask. We made the mistake of saying they were free once, and stuff disappeared. So if you ask, it's free.
I want to thank you all so much for coming out tonight. Tonight, I don't know. We're in this room. I don't know what time it is. It's like being at the casino.
I think tonight is just like
I
the normal
appreciate you all.
response.
2 p.m.? It'll be out at 2 p.m.?
No.
Oh, it's 2 p.m. Wow. I was at an all-day festival yesterday, and I got cooked out in that 100-degree temps, and I have no brain cells left. Thank you all so much. Check out Grinding with Strangers, Euphoria, Kellen Miller Music, Seven Arts, Seven Archives, and Chris Lumser's podcast with Long Coat Mafia. Appreciate you guys. Tear it up.
Thank you.
Thank you.